Welcome back to CBS News 24/7. So the next stop for Elon Musk and his Department of Government Efficiency team, or DOGE, the command center for the Federal Aviation Administration's air traffic control. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announcing that visit on X. So let's go to CBS News White House reporter Aaron Navarro. Aaron, does this have anything to do with the recent high-profile plane crashes making headlines?
Reed, good to be with you. This seems to be more so in line with the general look and potential audit, in the lack of a better word, that DOGE has been doing when it comes to federal government agencies. And as you mentioned, Secretary Duffy tweeted about this, or posted on X, and said that the group will, quote, get a first-hand look at the current system, learn what air traffic controllers like and dislike about their current tools, and envision how we can make them a new, better, modern, and safer system. That kind of gets to one of the actual purposes on paper behind DOGE, which is to kind of update the technology of the federal government. All of this is coming, though, as we learned over the weekend that there have been at least 300 employees at the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA, that were terminated. These are many employees that were probationary, meaning they were just hired within the last year or so. And we've also learned that employees at the NTSB, the National Transportation Safety Board, that has been kind of leading the investigation in regards to that plane crash in D.C. earlier this year, that they did not see any terminations.
There are also some reports I want to ask you about there in our nation's capital, that DOGE is requesting access to an IRS system that has taxpayer information. So anybody who pays taxes in the U.S. system, listen up. Tell us what you know about that, and how is the White House responding to that report?
Yeah, there were reports that a DOGE official is looking to get access to what's called the Integrated Data Retrieval System. And as you mentioned, it has a lot of private taxpayer information. It's a highly guarded, secure system that even the IRS commissioner themselves don't necessarily get access to, in part because the IRS doesn't want employees changing anything in regards to someone's tax filings, any of their private information. We don't know yet when or if this DOGE official will get access to this system, but there are watchdog groups and people who have voiced concerns with that. A White House official posted saying, quote, the hysteria surrounding DOGE's access to data is akin to a patient crying foul when a doctor asks for their medical history. You can't fix a problem if you don't know what it is. We heard President Trump last week, when asked if he wants to shut down the IRS, say that that is not a mission of DOGE, and kind of portray it as just an audit of the IRS. But certainly a lot of Democrats on Capitol Hill and watchdog groups have concerns on if a DOGE official gets access to such a wide spread of private information of taxpayers.
Well, and this is the president who, on his first time around, campaigned and was asked repeatedly to release his own tax returns. I'm yet to see those. I don't think any journalist has seen the full breadth and depth of Donald Trump's own tax returns. So what agencies made cuts over the weekend, and what's the scope of how big these governmental layoffs could be?
A lot of health agencies, interestingly enough, had cuts over the weekend, as well as 400 at the Department of Homeland Security. This does not include some of the agencies regarding the border, which we know is a big priority for President Trump in this second administration, but we know that 200 staff were cut at FEMA, 130 at Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, known as CISA. We know at the CDC that, quote, disease detectives were cut as well as in the HHS. As you know, the mandate right now is to cut those probationary employees, those who were fired within, or those who were hired, within the last year or so. Just the latest government data we have is that there are 200,000 of these probationary employees spread out across the federal government. It's not known yet whether all of those employees will be cut. We've been starting to track some of the data from each agency on layoffs. We know that at least 10,000 across the federal government have been laid off, but we know that we'll see more potentially Tuesday night. That is kind of the deadline that the Office of Personnel Management, kind of like the HR agency for the federal government, has requested each federal agency to report the number of people they're laying off.
We know you'll have that report first. Aaron Navarro, always great to talk to you, my friend. Have a great day.